One will be at 3 o'clock in the Greens Point area at Harvest Time Church. We'll be out there at 3 o'clock. And then the second one will also be tonight at 7 p.m. and that will be
Mark Twain Elementary School.
Mark Twain Elementary School at 7. Those are two information meetings. And then there will be a third in Northwest Houston, and that will be on Monday, and probably, I think we're planning on somewhere around Monday morning. I think that covers everything that I had that I was going to make mention of. Certainly people can get more information if they sign up to CitizenNet at houstontx.gov/citizensnet. Then they can get additional information on flood cleanup, debris removal, information on community meetings. So that's houstontx.gov/citizensnet. And then for people who want to contribute financially, and there have been a number of individuals and companies have indicated a desire to do that, they can contribute to the Greater Houston Storm Relief Fund, the Greater Houston Storm Relief Fund, and their contributions will be very much appreciated. But I do want to thank all of the first responders, police, fire, public works, solid waste, everyone, all the first responders, all of the city employees for really stepping up in this time period because many of them have families as well, and they have really stepped up, and I really appreciate the work that they have done. Then let me stop and take whatever questions.
So, Mayor, as you look back over the past couple of days, I'll let you, whatever Mr. Hayes has to say to you there. As you look back on the past couple of days, obviously we're in the middle of, still in the middle of this crisis. I wonder what lessons you've learned. I mean, have you looked at what the city has done in the past 48 or so hours and said, you know, we could have done this better, we should have done this?
I think, Doug, when you look at the situation, the rainfall has been at its historic proportions. We haven't faced a situation since 2001. And the way I guess I choose to look at it is that it's been unfortunate that we've had some loss of life. Seven people have lost their life as a result of the flooding in the city as well as the county collectively. But I am so appreciative at at the actions and the spirit of so many people throughout the region. Houstonians have just stepped up. First responders have stepped up. City employees have stepped up. But even more importantly, individuals have volunteered. They saw a situation that needed to be attended to, and they didn't hesitate. They've stepped in. People have volunteered their time. I just can't say enough for people who have really risen to the moment when people were in a crisis state and offered service. So I think that's been a plus, because I don't think anyone anticipated that it was going to be this bad. I don't think any of the weather people anticipated it was going to be this bad. And I think even if, for example, if the weather people had anticipated it was going to be this bad, I think they would have added some more to their coverage heading into it. So it's one of those situations that I'm very thankful that people have responded, and now we need to help transfer people to the next level. But in terms of hindsight, we discussed it a little bit at the city council table. If we had more high water rescue vehicles, that would have been a plus. But then, for example, if we had, let's say we had 10 more, and you had flooding and this flooding happened all over the city. And so let's say if you had 10, and you were using all 10 on the north side of town, and there were situations occurring on the south side of town, I think the question would then be asked, what would you have done in hindsight? And so let's say if I said I needed 20, and if the flooding was even much more significant, and you used all of those 20 on the north side and on the south side, and then flooding occurred on the west side, then the question would be, could you have done much more? I think those are questions that will always take place. But I think the focus is, and what I'm thankful for, is that there were police officers and firefighters even before the sun came up. They were out at 4 o'clock in the morning. And many of them left their own, they left their families. They left their families to serve the general public. And I'm thankful for individuals who are not as city employees, who just recognized the need and they responded and even put themselves in harm's way. So I think this is one of those times where you're very grateful and thankful. And we can always Monday morning quarterback, but I would tell you, what purpose does that serve?
Mayor, I talked to folks out there at the Arbor Corps apartments, and they're tired, and some of them are angry. They think the city should have done something faster. What do you say to this?
I think anybody who's in a moment of crisis and you're not responding to them at that moment, they're going to be frustrated and they're going to be angry. I think those are emotions that all of us can understand. Even, for example, you had Arbor Court, but right around in the same area, you also had City West apartment, you had Park DeVille, you had Durham apartments, and those people were many of them were evacuated, and they was placed at Greenspoint Mall. You had some that were told to go to the second floor. So if you're in a situation and you see the water rising, yeah, you're gonna be anxious and you're gonna be frustrated. I understand that, and you do the best you can at the moment in time. But the good news is that, look at it this way: no one lost their life there. Everybody there is safe. Were there anxious moments? Absolutely. Did anyone lose their life? No. I'm grateful for that. Would I have preferred to respond to them at the immediate moment of need? Absolutely. Absolutely. And do I apologize to anyone who believed that we didn't respond to them in time? Absolutely. I'm the CEO of Mansion City. Absolutely. But I'm also grateful that every person at Arbor Court has lived to see another day. They've lived to see another day. I mourn for people, for families, for those 7 families who did lose their lives. And so I choose to look at it from a point of view that if you are alive to see another day, and if someone from the city or if some volunteer or some individual did get to you in time, I'm grateful for that, and I'm thankful for that, you know? And you can be upset, and I understand the emotions, but also look around the city of Houston. I have seen senior citizens in living facilities that have been carried out from their homes, going someplace else. I've seen people who went to bed at night, and they've been awakened during the night, and there's water in their homes. So I certainly understand. I don't dismiss it. I don't dismiss it. But I also recognize that this was a rainfall of historic proportions. And it just didn't happen in one part of town, it occurred in the whole region.
And Mayor, speaking of historic proportions, there's
Yes.
been a lot of discussion about the last decade or two, the growth of the city, the lack of drainage, the quote-unquote runaway developers, and the fact that we've sort of paved our way out of any sort of, into runoff. Is there any sort of systematic change or for the city that you see undertaking during your tenure that would actually make long-term changes?
I am always going to look for ways to mitigate flooding. It is a top priority, and I intend to announce some steps to make it top priority. I'm going to make some announcements at the State of the City address of the schedule for this Monday as it relates to flooding. So yeah, we will continue to look at ways to mitigate flooding, to reduce it. And it's going to take all of the stakeholders at the table, as we've seen with what happened on Monday, unfolding as of today, is that it's not just, it's a regional issue, and it's going to take all the different partners sitting at the table. It's going to take developers, it's going to take the tourist community, it's going to take the super neighborhood, engineers, you name it, the business community, everyone Public Works, Harris County Flood Control District, Corps of Engineers, all sitting at the table to make it work.